Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, beta. Utkarsh, the previous class has ended, beta.
Yes, ma'am.
So where are the others?
They are coming.
Where are the other children, Utkarsh?
Ma'am, I don't know.
Why haven't you joined yet? Also, listen, we have completed that, no?
We have
Edited.
completed the civics chapter.
Now we'll continue with geography, right?
Yes,
Right,
ma'am.
Utkarsh? Good morning, Daksh.
Good morning, ma'am.
Why have you joined so late, beta? Good morning,
Ma'am, what class was going on?
Sushant. Utkarsh told me the class got over. Good morning, Sushant.
Ma'am, we have to start from chapter 9.
Yes, we have to continue with chapter 9.
From ma'am, natural vegetation.
Okay. Natural vegetation of what, beta? Have we completed natural vegetation?
Ma'am, I got this one.
The Ganga Bamboo vegetation. Yes, beta.
Ma'am, have we done 80 to 100 of chapter 8 of civics?
Civics we have completed, beta. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Chapter 9 of civics?
Chapter 9 is name the chapter.
Mark it around us.
Ma'am, market around us.
That we have not done. That we'll do. In this week. Okay. Yes, children. So we have to take up natural vegetation and wildlife of the Ganga Brahmaputra basin, right?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. 162
Ma'am,
page
in
number.
civics 10 chapter is not coming.
Yes, 10 chapters are coming. What are you saying?
162. Ma'am, 162 page number, natural vegetation.
Good morning, ma'am.
Sorry. Which page?
162.
Are you going to talk about this natural vegetation?
Yes, ma'am.
Amazon basin.
Ma'am.
We have not completed Amazon basin.
No, ma'am.
Okay then. Fine, Daksh, read.
Okay. The high temperature and heavy rainfall give rises to Dunu's luxuriant vegetation in the Amazon basin. These evergreen rainforests are the largest of their kind in the world and are called selva. The trees are tall with hard wool and broad leaves that form a canopy at the top. This prevents sunlight from penetrating into the forest, and the interiors are dark and damp. Mosses and ferns grow on the ground. Climbers like lianas are found along the tall tree trunks.
Okay, stop.
Ebony.
Stop here. Right, so children, as we have already read about the natural like about the evergreen forest in the chapter, no, natural vegetation and wildlife. There also we have read about the evergreen forest. There also we have read, no, what kind of trees do they have. So it's just the same. As we know that the temperature here in the Amazon basin is very high, right? And it always rains there, right? So because of the high temperature and heavy rainfall, we have dense luxuriant vegetation in the Amazon basin. Luxuriant vegetation means a lot of trees are there, right? Lot of trees are there. Okay, so these evergreen rainforests are the largest of their kind in the world, and they are called selva, right? They're one of the most dense, like they are the densest forest we can find in the world, and that's why they're known as selva. I might have told you that these forests are also known as the lungs of the earth. Have I told you?
No, ma'am.
See, the Amazon forest are known as the lungs of the earth because around 90% of the oxygen the world requires is being produced from these forests, right? So, like they are also known as selva, and the trees here are tall with hardwood and broad leaves that form a canopy at the top, just like we did in the evergreen forest. Okay, then this prevents sunlight from penetrating deep in the forest, right? Which again give rise to mosses, right? In the dark and damp, the interiors because of the dark and damp, and mosses and ferns grow on the top, right? Next is climbers like lianas are found along the tall tree trunks. So on the along with the tall tree trunks, you will be able to find such creepers as well, or climbers as well.
Tapir.
Okay, right? Yes, Utkarsh, read
Ma'am.
next.
Ma'am, climate.
Ebony, mahogany.
Okay, ma'am. Ebony, mahogany, and rosewood are important trees which provide excellent hard timber. The bark of the cinchona tree is used for making quinine, which cures the juice of chichal tree is used to make chewing gum. The forest also yield a host of other products like rubber, nuts, gums, resins, and fiber. However, commercial exploitation of these forests is difficult as a great variety of species grow together.
Okay, so as we read that ebony, mahogany, and rosewoods, which are basically found in the evergreen forest, are the kind of trees which provide excellent and hard timber. What's the meaning of timber, children?
Ma'am, what?
What is the meaning of
Timber.
timber? Timber.
Ma'am, timber means a hardwood.
Wood, hardwood, right? So they provide excellent quality wood. The bark of cinchona tree is used, like bark, you know what's the meaning of bark?
Ma'am, trees part.
Which part of the tree?
Bark.
The ground stem of the tree is known as bark, right? Okay. So yes, then the bark of cinchona tree is used to making quinine, which cures malaria, right? And the juice of
Ma'am,
yes, Siva.
some noise is coming.
Ma'am.
I'm a cat.
No, ma'am, a small child.
No. Right,
I'm a cat.
so just ignore it. The juice of trickle tree is used to make chewing gum, and the forest also yields a host of other products like rubber, nuts, gums, raisins, and fibers. However, commercial exploitation of these forests is difficult as a variety of species grew together in a small area. Like they cannot exploit these forests commercially, which means they cannot do plantation, like they cannot just come and cut the trees for their commercial
Village.
purposes, because the thing is that there they found the multiple variety of trees in a particular area. So if they have to basically take, like commercially exploit them, then they have to like take one thing from one place in another place, so it is just not possible only, right? Now let's talk about the wildlife. About read.
Ma'am, the Amazon basin enrich in different species
A
of
bit louder,
wildlife.
Ibad. Louder.
The Amazon basin enrich in different species of wildlife.
Different
A
species, not
variety
spices. Spices are not the
species,
masale.
species of wildlife. A variety of monkeys and sloths are found in the trees. Pumas and jaguars are animals of prey. Tapirs and ancient mammals like anteaters and armadillos are found on the ground. Reptiles like crocodiles, alligators, turtles, iguanas, and different types of snakes, including anaconda, the largest snake in the world, around 10 meters long, are found in the swamps. The rivers have a rich variety of fish, including the fierce flesh-eating piranha, colorful birds like toucans, human human gibbets, different types of parrots, and a variety of insects are also found in the Amazon basin.
Ibad, it was hummingbirds. Which words?
Yes, ma'am.
Humming.
Hummingbirds.
Coming
Second
with
one.
What is sloth?
What is?
Sloth.
Sloth.
Yes, ma'am.
There's sloth given here.
Ma'am, a variety
Third
of
line,
monkeys and
second word.
sloths.
Sloths
Ma'am,
basically
third
are
line,
also
second.
kind. Hanji? Sloths, bear, no? Haven't you heard of? Sloths are also kind of animal only. I'll just share a picture of sloths in a group. See, these are sloths. Can you see that?
Ma'am, it is like a small baby.
It's not a small baby. It's an animal.
Ma'am,
That's
his
how.
reaction is like,
Okay. This is another one.
it's like a monkey.
Kind of, you can say. With the very big nails on the claws.
Second picture is very horror.
Yeah. Quite scary it is as well. Right? So yes, the Amazon basin is rich in different species of wildlife, as Ibar told us, and a variety of monkeys and sloths are common in the trees, right? As you can see, that it seems to be an arboreal animal who spends most of the time on trees. Now the pumas and jaguars, you know what pumas are?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you seen?
Ma'am, in ma'am, mobile phones, videos.
Yes,
Ma'am, not
right?
in real.
Well, you have seen the animal puma, right?
And ma'am, jaguar also.
Yeah. So pumas and jaguars are are animals of prey. What do you mean by animals of prey, children?
Ma'am, they
मैम
eat
शिकारी
ma'am
जानवर
animals.
मैम शिकारी जानवर
Shikari जानवर, the
Ma'am,
people
carnivorous.
carnivores, the people who the people I'm saying, the animals who eat other animals. Tapirs and ancient mammals like anteaters and armadillos are also found here. Now these you must have not seen, right?
Ma'am, iguana.
I'm talking about anteaters and
Anki
armadillos.
teacher. No, ma'am, I've been.
Huh?
I've not seen them.
This is it. Basically, they are no. That's why they're saying it for them. Like they are ancient mammals. मतलब बहुत पहले time के हैं ये, which are not found
Ma'am,
now.
dinosaur.
Not dinosaur.
मैम इट्स लाइक दिस
Yeah, this he's just shown the picture. I was about to send this in the group only. So you can just see a very different body structure they have. Right? This is what we
मैम
call
दे
an anteater as.
मैम दे feeds on ants
They feeds on ants. And what is the
Anteaters.
meaning of mammals, children? You must have read it in science.
Ma'am, they have ma'am, which animal they have hairs
That's it.
on their
Yes, ma'am,
bodies.
anteaters is like very big animal.
Right. And then they also give birth to young ones, right?
Ma'am,
Okay. Next is armadillos. Armadillos are also ancient mammals. Have you seen them?
no, ma'am.
This is it. I'm sharing the picture of them as well. But these animals are something which we have never even heard of, no, neither seen.
Ma'am, is it like this?
Yes, yes. This is what do we call it? Armadillos. Right. So these are the animals. Okay. We were talking about. So these animals are also found on the ground. Reptiles like crocodiles, alligators, turtles, iguanas, you can see here, right? And different types of snakes, including anaconda, which is the largest snake in the world, are found in the swamps. What do we mean by swamps?
Reverse.
The type area you might have heard, no? The area which has a lot of water mixed with mud. That area is known as swamp.
Ma'am, quicksand.
Ma'am, island.
Ma'am, area near quicksand.
Yes, area near that, or the area which is very marshy, which is a lot of water with like kind of quicksand also you can say. Okay, so that's known as swamps. The rivers have a rich variety of fish, including fierce flesh-eating piranha. Piranha is kind of a fish only, which is very fierce and which eats flesh.
Yes,
Colorful
ma'am.
bird like toucans, hummingbirds, and different types of parrots and a variety of insects are also found in the Amazon basin. Clear? Are we clear with the wildlife of the Amazon basin?
Ma'am.
Right. Now let's talk about human activities.
Ma'am,
So
this blue box. Uh,
here's Dutch. Okay, so Shan, let's read about the human activities of this region.
Okay, ma'am. Human activities. The Amazon basin has extremely sparse population. This
What's the
is
meaning of sparse population?
Very much.
very
much.
ma'am, less. High.
Less. High, no high. Sparse means very less.
Low population.
Can I continue? Sparse population. This is so because of oppressive climate, dense forest, lack of transport facilities, and frequent outbreak of disease like malaria and yellow fever. The core forest area are inhabited by tribal people. They lead a very primitive lifestyle and obtain their food by gathering, hunting, and fishing. They live in small huts and branches of leaves, branch. Small huts made of branches and leaves. These huts are built on raised platform to avoid flood waters.
Right.
The
Thank
more
you so much.
the more advanced.
Ma'am, questions are framing.
Obviously, questions will be framed better, Daksh. Yes. Done. Okay. Just wait a minute, Sushant. So as he said that we know like Amazon basin has extremely sparse population. Can you tell me why Amazon basin have extremely sparse population?
Ma'am, because it is ma'am very high forest area.
Because a lot of forest, lack of transport facility, we have a lot of what there? We have a lot of
Waterless.
diseases are also there, right? So this is because of the
Animals.
oppressive climate. The climate is so oppressive. It's very hot. It rains all the time. There's lack of transport facility, frequent outbreak of diseases like malaria and yellow fever. And the core forest areas. What does it mean? The core means the interior, right?
Forest.
Ma'am, what's yellow fever?
It's a kind of a fever only. It's a kind of a like we have.
Ma'am, jaundice.
Can you say that? You can say something like that. It's also a disease, right?
Ma'am.
Yes, Utkarsh.
Ma'am, what is yellow fever?
Again, it's a kind of disease, right?
Kind of
Okay.
disease like
Yeah. Okay. So the core forest areas, the interior of the forests are inhabited by the tribals, right? And we all know that the tribals have always lived and they always live a very primitive lifestyle and they obtain
common
their food,
ancestor of India.
and they obtain their food by gathering, hunting, and fishing. They live in small huts made of branches and leaves, and these huts are built on raised platforms to avoid the flood water. Right? You might have heard of stilt houses. Have you heard of stilt houses? The houses
No,
are
ma'am.
stilts, like they're built on height. Have you seen Welcome? Movie Welcome.
No,
Have
ma'am.
you seen in the end of the Welcome
Ma'am, I
that
have
the
seen
house which was built on bamboos and
pillar.
cut that,
Yes, ma'am. Of
right?
bamboo wood.
Such kind of houses are known as stilt houses, which was made on bamboo. No, in the end scene, they chop it off and the house is about to fall.
I mean, Hindi we say machan.
Machan is a tree house, beta. Machan is something which is built on a tree. But that was not built on a tree, that was just built on a raised platform. Right? Stills we call those wooden pieces. Okay. Right. So the more advanced natives live in small villages. They make huts with wood, clay, and leaves and build them on stilts. Right? See, आगे ना यहाँ पे stilts मतलब लकड़ी के डंडे लेके उनके ऊपर बनाते हैं उन्हें. And they grow tuber crops like yam
Ma'am,
and
wood
cassava.
house.
Good house. They grow tuber crops like yam and cassava and vegetables on clear patches of land. Yes, of course, read next.
Ma'am, may I read?
Okay, read.
Married.
Abhishek will read.
Shifting agriculture in the form of agriculture quite common in the forest of Amazon basin. It is also known as slash and the burn agriculture. First, and the area within the forest is cleared by filling the tree. Then they are burned and crops are planted among the stumps. No care is taken of the after 2 or 3 years. The soil loses its fertility, and then the people abandon the clearing and look for cultivable land elsewhere within the forest. This type of agriculture is harmful for the forest, and environmentalists are trying to stop it.
Do not scribble on the screen, please. Right? Yes, thank you so much, Abhishek. So, see, shifting agriculture. Have you ever heard of shifting agriculture, children?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. It is also known as slash and burn agriculture. Now, what happens in this is the tribals, no, they also do some sort of agriculture. Yeah, what is it?
Ma'am, they shift agriculture. Agriculture.
How can you shift agriculture? Right, it is a very common form of agriculture in the forest of Amazon basin. It's also known as slash and burn agriculture. What do they do in this is first an area within the forest is cleared by felling the trees, right? They cut the trees, they clear a patch of land, and then those trees are burnt, okay? And crops are planted among the stumps. Why do they burn the trees? They burn the trees because, and they burn all the area because the ash which they get, when the ash get mixed with the soil, it makes the soil more fertile. Okay, so just to increase the fertility of the soil, they do that, and then they do not need to put any pesticides, any fertilizers in the soil. No, right? So no care is taken of the plants until the harvest. They just burn them, right? Makes the ash with the soil, and after that they just let it to grow, leave it to grow, and no, they do not take any specific care of them until they have to harvest it. Harvest means to cut the crop, right? So the main crops grown are cassava, yam, maize, banana, and vegetables. After 2 or 3 years, the soil loses its fertility, and then the people abandon that land. Okay, and then they look for cultivable land elsewhere in the within the forest, right? And then they clear another patch and they do cultivation there. That's why this type of agriculture is harmful for the forest, and some environmentalists are trying to stop it. In some parts of the Amazon basin, rubber plantations have been developed where rubber is grown on a commercial scale. Now, coffee, cocoa, nuts are also grown commercially in some places.
Yes, ma'am.
Minerals,
For coffee, there are some plants cool in the places.
right. Minerals like iron ore, gold, tin, copper, manganese, and bauxite are also found in this region, and this has led to mining.
Activities in some place.
What's happening? Why is this coming?
Ma'am, sometimes it comes.
Okay. Okay. So now mining activities are also happening, and as we know that mining activities are very, very harmful for the forest. When they have to do mining, they'll again clear the forest, and that's how the forests are being disrupted. Now, Lakshya, is your mic working now?
Yes, ma'am.
Read about transport and cities.
Transport and cities. The dense forest and swampy grounds are great
Swampy
hindrance in
grounds.
building road and rail networks in the Amazon basin. In the interior, waterways are the only mode of transport. There is only one major highway is the region, the Trans Amazon Highway. There are very few big cities in the Amazon basins. Manaus, Man, Manaus are major rubber collection center, and Belém, Belém, the chief port of the region, are located in the Brazil.
Okay.
Iquitos, Iquitos,
Iquitos in
new
Peru.
is another port.
Okay, stop it.
Life in
Ma'am,
Amazon
in
basin
Brazil,
has undergone.
Yes, Doug, speak up.
ma'am, in Brazil, there are small, very small areas, and the houses are very linked to each other.
Hmm. Right. So now the part is that the dense forest and the swampy grounds are great hindrances in building road and rail networks in the Amazon basin. It's very obvious that we have just read that the Amazon basin has dense forest, it has swampy grounds, and we know that we cannot build roads easily in such areas, right? Okay. So in the interiors,
Yes,
waterways
ma'am.
are the only mode of transport. We have read about inland waterways, children.
Yes,
Remember?
ma'am. Ma'am, yes,
Hanji?
ma'am, St. Lawrence.
What is tolerance?
Ma'am, St. Great James, St. Lawrence Waterway in North America. Nishe Ganga
Okay. So there is only one major highway in this region, which is known as the Trans-Amazonian Highway, and this is a high. This highway links one end of the Amazon basin to the another.
Another.
And if we talk about the cities here, it has very few cities, right? There are very few big cities in the Amazon basin, like Manaus, a big major rubber collecting center, because we have just read that rubber plantation has started on commercial scale at places. Next, we
Yes,
have
ma'am.
Belém, the chief port of the region, and is located in Brazil. Then Iquitos in Peru is another port, just one more port. Okay,
Excuse me, ma'am.
Anji beta.
Ma'am, in these ma'am forests, they are bridges small. Ma'am, river that is made up of wood, and ma'am that can be broken in at any time.
Hmm. It can be
Like
broken.
ma'am, yes, ma'am. Like if the car comes, there is
No, they're not like that also. When they make bridges and all, they make them strong. It's not like that. They're too fragile. If they're not properly repaired, not taken care, then they get way too fragile. Right? Yes, Hamad, read next, beta.
Okay, ma'am.
Life in the Amazon basin. Hamad.
Life in the Amazon basin has undergone many changes in recent years, with more and more people migrating to this region. The forest cover is gradually getting depleted, giving way to land for grazing and construction. A large number of species of plants and animals are under threat of extinction. The Amazon rainforests are the lungs of our planet. Destruction of these forests through our activities can have disastrous consequences in future.
Okay. Right. So life in the
Extreme
Amazon basin has undergone many more changes in recent years. Right? It keeps on going, many changes keeps on happening. right? With more and more people migrating to this region. Migrating means
Ma'am, coming people and going.
right. As more and more people are coming and settling here, now the forest cover is gradually getting depleted. The meaning of gradually is, children,
Ma'am, the forest is now getting means
meaning,
now
But smaller.
what's the meaning of the term gradually?
Ma'am, I know it, but can't express it.
Just write it down slowly. Gradually means slowly.
ma'am low.
Slow.
Okay, ma'am.
Slowly. Slowly. Right? Gradually means slowly. At a very slow pace. Right? So gradually they are depleting and giving way to the land for grazing and construction, because human beings are settling there, they will be doing grazing, they will need land for construction. So they'll clear off patches of land, they'll clear off the forest. Okay, a large number of species of plants and animals are under the threat of extinction. We know the meaning of extinction, children?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
expensive.
Huh? Expensive?
no, ma'am. Ma'am, to reach our end.
Very good. Extinction means to reach an end. They are almost about to end. There are many species of animals and plants that are about to end. Right?
Ma'am, like in
And
India, if we go in, there's just no animals are.
right, the Amazon
Excuse me,
rainforest
ma'am.
are the lungs of our planet. See, I told you, no, they're also known as the lungs of our planet. Right, so they are the lungs of our planet. Destruction of these forests for activities can have disastrous consequences in the future.
Excuse me,
So is
ma'am.
it all clear till here, children?
Ma'am, very easy.
Any doubts till here?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes,
Ma'am, this
Hamad.
map we will wrong.
I'll
Ma'am, we
tell
will
you
come
about
in
maps.
wrong.
Yes, Hamad.
ma'am, there is a type of species of sharks which is second largest animal mammal uh, in the world. Ma'am, it has only 10 of them left, and it's going to extend in next 50 years. It is.
Okay. Now let's talk about the Ganga Brahmaputra basin, right? Can we?
Can I read?
Sushant will read. Yes, Sushant. Read. Sushant,
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ganga Brahmaputra Basin location. The Ganga Brahmaputra Basin is one of the largest river basins in the world. It covers the largest part of northern India and almost the whole Bangladesh. It is bounded by Himalayan mountains in the north and Peninsula Plateau in the south. Ma'am, I have to read this blue box also.
Hmm.
In the east, it stretches up to the Brahmaputra River in Upper Assam, and in the west, it merges with Indus Plain. The length of this plain is about 2,500 kilometers, and its width varies from 100 to 400 kilometers. The Ganga Brahmaputra basin is a part of.
Stop here. Right, so the Ganga Brahmaputra basin is one of the largest river basins in the world, right? And do we live in this? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we do. So it covers large parts of northern India and almost the whole of Bangladesh, as you can see in this map, right?
Ma'am,
You can
China
see that.
also.
Yeah, majority of this area called northern India and the entire
Ma'am, now
Bangladesh,
Tibet is coming China.
right? And entire Bangladesh is basically
Bhutan
by
also.
this river system, right? It is bounded by the Himalayan mountains in the north, and in the south it has the peninsula plateau. Then it stretches up to the Brahmaputra river in the upper Assam, and the west it merges with the Indus plain. The length of this plain is about 2,500 kilometers, and its width varies from 100 to 400 kilometers, right? If you see that the plains are broader in the west, and as you move towards the east, they'll get thinner, right? Right, kids?
No, Tibet is coming China.
What?
No, Tibet is coming China.
Tibet is?
Coming
Coming
in
in
China. Coming in China.
Yes, it comes from China. Now let's talk about the
Deep.
land of the
Yes,
Ganga
ma'am.
Brahmaputra basin. Yes, Dakshri.
The Ganga Brahmaputra Basin is a part of the Great Northern Plains of India. These plains have been formed by the alluvium brought down from the Himalayas and deposited by the river. Depositional features like flood plains, natural embankment, minerals, and oxbow lakes are common in these plains. The Ganga River is the longest river in the India and joined by many tributaries like Yamuna, Ghagra, Gomti, Ganda, Kosi, Son, and Damadur.
Damodar. Stop here. Like
Which
children, the
Kosi is
names of
talking
these.
about?
Hanji,
Kosi, which Kosi river is
Daksh,
talking
your
about?
voice
It
is not
isn't.
clear, beta.
Which Kosi river it is talking about?
I was saying that, see, the names of these tributaries are very important, right? Like the Ganga
Kosi
Brahmaputra
is in
Basin is
UP
a part
also.
of Great Northern Plains, right? These plains have been formed by alluvium brought down from the Himalayas and deposited by the rivers. Like we know, when when these rivers are, yes, when these rivers are coming from the mountains, from the slopes, they come at very great speed, and then they keep on doing a lot of erosion, and they bring the things like silt and pebbles along with them, and when they come towards the plains, they settle them all there, right? So depositional features like flood plains, natural embankments, meanders, and oxbow lakes are common in the Ganga Brahmaputra plains, right? The Ganga River is the longest river in India, and it is joined by many tributaries like Yamuna, Ghagra, Gomti, Gandak, Kosi, Son, and Damodar. I told you about the difference between tributaries and distributaries. Do you remember that?
Tributary is that ma'am that the rivers is joined by many.
The many rivers which joins the major rivers are known as tributaries, and the many rivers which goes away from a major river are known as distributaries. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Abhishek, read next, beta.
Ma'am, which river it is talking?
What, beta?
Kosi is which river talking?
What?
Ma'am, which Kosi river it is talking?
I'm not able to listen to your question.
Ma'am, which Kosi river it is talking?
Kosi River joins the Ganga River.
No, ma'am, which Kosi river it is talking?
Which Kosi River? The Kosi River in the north.
Ma'am, in north where, ma'am?
Where in north? I think they have not marked it here. I'll share a picture of Ganga and its tributaries and you can see. Okay?
Ma'am.
In the meanwhile, I request Abhishek to read next. Abhishek, read next, beta. Abhishek, can you hear me? Lakshya. Abhishek and Lakshmi Singh, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Lakshya, read next. Read about the Brahmaputra River.
Ma'am, the Ganga Brahmaputra Basin.
You have to read from the Brahmaputra River rises in Tibet.
Ma'am,
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. The Brahmaputra River rises in the Tibet where it is known as the Tasangpo. After entering India through Arunachal Pradesh, it follows through Assam. Many tributaries like Manas, Lohit, Sub, Subanshiri, and Kopili join the river here. The Ganga and the Brahmaputra rivers join in Bangladesh before draining into the Bay of Bengal. These two rivers form the largest and fastest growing delta in the world. The Ganga Brahmaputra Delta or the Sundarban
Okay. So the Brahmaputra River rises in Tibet where it is known as Sangpo. What is it known as in Tibet? Tell me. What is Brahmaputra known as in Tibet?
Tasakmu.
Not Sangamo, it's Sangpo. T is silent there. We pronounce it as Sangpo. What do we pronounce it as?
Changpo.
Sangpo. What do you pronounce it as?
Sangpo.
Sangpo. Right. So the Ganga Brahmaputra rivers join in Bangladesh. Sorry, right? It is known as Sangpo in Tibet. After entering India slowly through Arunachal Pradesh, it flows to Assam, and many tributaries like Manas, Lohit, Subansiri, and Kokli join it. Right there, you can see the picture I have sent you. You can see Subhansiri, Lohit. Can you see it, children?
Ma'am. In this week we can come.
Right? Okay. So, the Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers join in Bangladesh before draining the Bay of Bengal. These two rivers forms the